Hi everyone, just waiting for a few more people to join us tonight, but I see a few more people already came in, so thank you so much for being on time. Love it, love when people are on time. Hope everyone's feeling nice and warm. Just give me a couple of seconds, I'm just gonna share this across. One moment. Just a second, just waiting for one more minute. Setting up everything, making sure it all works. One-man band here. And for those that are watching on YouTube, please make sure to ask your questions in the chat bar if you do have any questions, because sometimes I don't see the YouTube side of things. I only see the Zoom. So that would be great. But for those that are online now, can you guys hear me well? And can you see me well? You can just tap. Oh, yep, cool. You can do that. You can send me some highs. There's also a chat. So just a bit of a housekeeping. You can also use a chat if you've got any questions. Would love to know where you guys are from tonight. For those that are tuned in, great. And then we'll share the webinar and away we go. Right, about to share my screen. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Let's go share. All right. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys can see my screen. Tonight is going to be a bit of a different one. Normally, when I take my clients through the first home buyers webinars I've done in the past, it's all about the steps, the deposits, the loans, and what does it look like. Tonight is going to be a mixture of what you need to know as a first home buyer, but also the mindset that we've got to work with. The more I work in this industry, the more I see the need for really working with people and their mindsets to be ready to be a first home buyer. Because a lot of the time, if you're not ready to be a first home buyer, you're never going to buy a house. Well, not just a first home buyer, but a buyer in itself. And tonight, I really want to take you through that journey and just really work on what has been useful for me as a person that came to New Zealand that didn't really have any financial education whatsoever, and how did I end up doing what I'm doing now? And it's going to be a mixture of those things tonight. So stay with me if you want to learn what will get you a yes. We're going to go through the process, we're going to understand it, and we're going to discover simple rules of lending that will help you in any moment of your journey that you're in right now. Because some of those rules are quite universal, whether you want to buy right now, whether you want to buy in 3 months, whether you want to buy in 6 months. However, I do have to make this disclaimer. This presentation is for educational purposes only. It should not in any way be taken as a specific financial advice. If you want specific financial advice, please come and see me in every situation specifically. Now, when we talk about the home ownership, there are various steps to get there. It's not like you just wake up one morning and you decide to go put an offer on a house and away you go. It doesn't work like that fully. There are several steps in the process that you have to take to get there. And a lot of the worries I often hear from my clients, they've just got their resident visa, right? It's not permanent residency, it's just resident visa. They may have low deposit. They may have high debt and bad credit or a bad credit. So a lot of those things really worry people, and you see advice online, which I really, really hate to see myself, where people go, oh, you can't buy a house because you've got big student loan, or you can't buy a house because you've got a car loan. You can't buy a house because, you know, you've had a default in the past, or you don't have 20% deposit. All those things can be easily overcome if you've got the right person in your corner. If you've got the right advisor in your corner, it should absolutely be okay to get on the ladder, because I've helped people in the past. I've helped hundreds of people in that situation to get on the ladder. So if that's your worry, stay with me and we can have a look. I've got a couple of clients here. They were on resident visa. They had high debt, low deposit. They had doubts about owning a home, and then they managed to buy their first home within 6 months after we met. I also have this beautiful other clients of mine. When they came to see me as well, they were also in a high debt position. They had low deposit, and they owned their home within 9 months after we met. I also had this guy here, and he's a bit of a poster boy now for me, for our team. Jordan, he was a single dad. He had a 10% deposit, and he purchased his house within 3 months of setting an action plan with me. And now, funny enough, he's actually one of our team members. He works with us in Team Zibonisa. And because he loved the process so much, he decided to become an advisor, retrain from the job that he was doing, so he can help more people on the ladder. Because when he wanted to buy a house, someone said no to him, and then he came to me and I said yes, and that's what he wants to do for his clients. That's really cool. So you'd be thinking, what do they know that you don't? Let's explore. What I did was, a lot of my clients that you saw just before, and a lot of clients in my everyday, I always ask them, what's your goal? How soon do you want to get to this position? So we really, really, really need to sit down and set some goals to create your new reality. Now, today, this came up on my podcast as well, but what are you actually carrying in your backpack of beliefs? All of us carry something on our backs. Whether we've got it from our parents, our friends, the society, we will have a set of things in there that don't belong to us. And this is where you really have to dig deep first before you set up on this journey. And we're going to talk about it today. One of the things I often ask in my meetings with clients is, what's your why? What does owning your first home mean to you? And as we dig through the items in your backpack, through your beliefs, we discover that you may not even want to buy a house. It may be your parents' idea. It may be your friends that are getting on the ladder and you feel like you're missing out on life, so you have to do it too. Or you may feel like you need to put the roots down, and this is why you want to be buying a house. You want to provide for your family. You're sick of renting. You know, you don't want to stay with your parents anymore. So you really have to dig into your why, because if you're not clear on your why, I will tell you now, you will not be buying a house within 6 to 12 months, because you will continue to find excuses not to buy a house. Because to you, you're still not clear in your own mind why you want to buy a house. The moment you know your why, the opportunities will come up, the houses will come up. You will start seeing, you will start seeking, and you will find that house that you want to make your home. So today, I really want you to grab a piece of paper and write down what's my why, and really work on it, really sit with it for the next few days, for a week if you have to. Why do you want to buy your home, and what does it mean to you? Now, when I worked through with these couples, they all had different reasons, but the same reasons at the same time. They were sick of renting, and they wanted to put their roots down, and they wanted to provide for their family. So you need to really ask yourself, what's your why? Whether it's going to be an immediate answer or not, only you will find out. Now, for those that don't know, my name is Zibonisa Salimova. I've been in the industry for quite some time now, and I'm going to take you through the steps of what does getting a pre-approval mean? What does it look like when you go on this journey? And we're going to look through pre-approval, finding a house, putting an offer. Then what does it mean going from conditional to unconditional? We're going to talk about the settlement day, and we're going to talk about what happens after. So 3 things you need to know. This is where you've got to pick out your pen and paper again, and we're going to write it down. 3 things you need to know are deposit, income, and liabilities. This is what the bank wants to know every single time. It doesn't change. Whether you're applying for a house now, whether you want to get a pre-approval in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, or 2 years' time, these things will stay the same. They will always want to know what's your deposit, how do you make your money to pay that mortgage back, and what sort of liabilities do you have right now. Let's drill into deposit. Deposit forms out of your purchase price. So that will depend. How much are you willing to spend? What's the first deposit and when do you need to pay it? Often I get asked, how much do I actually need? And to be honest, you actually don't need as much as you think you do. We can get you in with as little as 5%. I would love for someone to find me a house for 600K that looks like this. But in reality, if you found a house at 600K, all we need really is 5% deposit. That's 30,000. That's actually not that much to save if you've got a good average income, if you're still staying at home. If you're renting, it may be a bit trickier to save. But a lot of us can save that via KiwiSaver. So you don't even have to have it in cash. That could be done through your KiwiSaver as well. Now let's look at some of the things can be done that my clients have done, that I have done as well, and some of the things that can be used as your deposit. So deposit types could be your savings, KiwiSaver. Your family can give you a gift. You can also maybe borrow something somewhere. There could be gifted equity. We do a lot of gifted equity for tenants wanting to buy a landlord's house. And it could also be sale of assets, like cars or items you may own. Now, in terms of strategies, let's really drill into this a little bit. When I used to work in the bank, I used to suggest to my clients to create a separate savings account that you don't have access to via internet banking. You can open it in a completely different bank if you needed to and create automatic payment. So learn to pay yourself first. I know a lot of people will say to me right now, oh, well, the times are tough, we can't even save. I'm sure you can save at least $2 a week. I'm sure you can save at least $5 a week, because it's these habits that will get you into a saving strategy, and these habits will get you into your home. A lot of people are quick to tap their card on things they buy that they don't really need. But to consciously save, it's a habit that you need to build. And unfortunately, financial literacy in New Zealand is still very underperforming, I would say. And if you don't educate yourself, nobody's going to come and rescue you. So that's my tip for you, is create an automatic payment, open an account in a different bank, don't sign up for internet access, and just start putting money away. And you'll be surprised how quickly that money actually builds up. Now, remember the strategy: when you do end up buying a house, continue to pay into that account just even little bits, because when things go wrong with the house or whatever, you will always have an emergency savings account to fall back on. Because did you know that 40% of Kiwis don't even have $500 savings to cover up simple bills? And that's super, super scary. So make sure you carry on with the strategy. Don't stop when you buy a house. Now, the other thing I usually say to my clients is the ways to boost the income is look at your budget. Really, really drill into your budget. Find out where is the money going. Because if you don't know where the leaks are in your pot, you wouldn't be able to mend them. So really look into your budget. See what you can cancel. Your subscriptions. Do you really need Disney, Netflix, and Prime? Or Amazon and YouTube and Spotify? You don't. Kill them all if you need to. When I was buying my first home, I had 0 subscriptions because I knew I need to save the money to buy my home. What's the priority here? Look into getting rid of high interest debt. So if you've got a lot of different debt, and this is what we've been really doing lately for a lot of our clients, is we've been tidying up all those things. We've been putting them together. So if you've got 3 or 4 different credit cards, you've got a car loan, personal loan, by bringing them into one loan, you can actually have a much greater cash flow, and you may actually get a much better interest rate as well. Now, the second one, get a second job. Again, a lot of you may question me and go, well, the economy is not doing well. Where am I going to get a second job? Well, let me tell you, today I was talking to a client, first home buyer, lovely lady, single in her 30s. She's got a full-time job and she's got a second job doing cleaning. So those things are possible. And she only does 4 or 5 hours a week cleaning, but that helped her to boost her savings. Side hustles. My gosh, I was so big on those when I was a first home buyer. I used to sell anything I could. I cleared out my wardrobes. I cleared out my house. I cleared anything I could out of the house. Actually helped me move much easier as well. Books that you don't need anymore. Clothes, toys. I don't know, anything that you see, sell it. And people will be able to, to buy as well, because there are people that are always looking for bargains, and if you're not selling it for too high. I used to bake cakes for sale. I used to babysit. I used to do photography. I used to do all sorts of things. So there are opportunities there. You just really got to put yourself out there and look for them, and they will come. If we just go back a little bit into a budget for a moment, I really want to drill, because this is one of the fundamentals. If you don't get it right now, when you buy a house, you're really going to struggle. So this is why getting this thing is super important right now. Now, when I talk about the budget, it doesn't have to be super hard. It can just be what's coming in terms of money and what's going out. Obviously, when you don't have a house, you're not going to have as many expenses. But when you have a house, you have to also add rates and insurances to that as well. So you really, really got to understand your budget before you become a homeowner. And as mentioned before, budget is the way to find ways to cover those shortfalls. Now, one thing as well I come across a lot in my first home buyers when I talk to them is a lot of them don't have the discipline that it takes. A lot of us want beautiful bodies, right? But we don't want to put the work that it takes to go to the gym, to eat better, to exercise. Home ownership is basically the same thing. You gotta put the work into it. You gotta get disciplined with your finances, with your tapping away. I know it's really hard when your friends are going out and having great time and you want to join them, but you can't. And you just do it anyway because, oh, well, next weekend I'll get better at my finances. Doesn't work like that. I had to go for 6 months with sacrifices of not eating out, not having coffees out, not going out with my friends, because I knew my why. My why was to buy a house. I wanted to stop paying rent to someone else and really get on a ladder. So this is the time where you really have to question yourself. Are you ready for this? And if you are, then you've got to put certain steps in place. Okay? So the decisions you make today are steps to achieve the dream tomorrow. As you can see, this beautiful woman is walking up into the light, and this is where I want to see you guys heading, as going from, oh, I don't know what to do, to something really cool and exciting. If we go back into your backpack here for a moment, and we actually divide it into various parts, you can see that the most heaviest thing is at the bottom. It's the beliefs. And if you don't sort out your beliefs, you're going to be carrying a lot of heavy stuff that does not belong to you. Then from there, usually it's the feelings that we all have, right? And then you've got to change your behavior. And then you will see the results. Now, I'm going to stop for a moment and I'm going to give you time to think. What beliefs have you been believing? What has someone been saying to you that you believed, that you thought is not possible and now it is? Really, really think about it. Now, the third point that I wanted to talk to you about tonight, as we mentioned in the beginning, remember there was deposit, income, and liabilities. The bank will always look at your liabilities. What do you have? Now, a lot of the time I come across people that spend money they don't have because they want to have a good life. They want to impress their friends, they want to impress their neighbors, they want to impress their family. And usually a lot of that goes onto the credit card. Tap, tap, tap. We became a society of tappers. We became a society of people that can just buy things online quite easily. So really, really look into that in your life. Student loan will not affect your mortgage as much. The high interest debt will, So this is where we really got to tidy up things for you before you're ready. And that really affects how much can you actually borrow. Now, one thing I really want to teach my first-time buyers is to be able to calculate their own repayments. Because remember, we talked about the budgets and ability to understand what your repayments will be. You should be able to understand these things. And there are lots of tools online these days. Now, if you want me to share my own calculator at the end of this, flick us a message and I'll send you the one I built personally that will help you calculate your repayments as well. And one thing that you got to remember, the reason people come to us versus directly to the banks is because we have access to multiple banks. When it comes to servicing of how much you can actually borrow, all banks are different. They're not the same. And we've seen it time and time again with our first-time buyers, where you can go to one bank and you could borrow 600,000, but another bank will only give you 400. Or the other bank will only give you 500. They're all very different. They all have different offerings, cashbacks, interest rates, all of that. So it really depends who is the best fit for you. So don't believe people that say, oh, go direct to the bank, it's so much easier. Yeah, in some cases it may be easier, but then you really limiting yourself only to that bank, unless you've got all the time in the world to go from bank to bank. This is where our job is. And the best thing is we don't actually cost you anything. We are absolutely free. And when I talk to my clients, I really want them to understand which way do they want to go. Are they going up? Are they going down? Are they coming with us? Or are they going into completely different ladder? And this is where we can really, really help you to make those decisions. In my team, I've got several advisors. So if it's not me that you're working with, you'll be working with one of my advisors. And we all come from the experience of buying our own homes, dealing with the banks day in, day out. We know what it's like. So we can be there for you. Now, I also put together a first-home buyer's guide. So for those that want one, please, again, reach out to us. We can send it to you direct after the webinar has finished. It's got all the steps from what you need to do at the pre-approval stage all the way through to settlement. So feel free. It's absolutely doesn't cost you anything, and we can send it to you. Now, I've tried to go really fast through this to not keep you up all too late, because I understand it's an evening. But I hope now that you're feeling a little bit more positive about the process, it's not that hard. I hope you understand how we calculate the deposit amount, and that you understand that no lender is really the same. Now, if we stopped for a moment and we thought, okay, well, what if we don't want to buy a house right now? What if we want to save up to 20% deposit? What if we're waiting for better times? But to be honest, at the moment, it's the best time to buy. The prices are at the lowest they've been, and it's good. It's really, really good right now. But what if you didn't? Let's say you didn't buy a house this year, and the same house went up by 5%. The cost to you really is 30,000. So if you decide to not buy this year, wait for a year, by the time you saved more money, the house price has gone up again. So you're forever chasing your own tail. And the interest rates started to go up a little bit. At the moment, all the banks have increased them by 20 basis. And there are a lot of talks that they may continue to be increased. We don't know. But if you buy right now where the property prices are low, interest rates are relatively low, they're below 6%, you can actually lock yourself away for a really good deal and then ride it out as the interest rates go up or the prices of property go up. Now, why would you want to work with me? As I mentioned before, I've worked in the bank before. I've been a mortgage advisor for quite some time now, and everything else that you see here on the screen. But I am involved in the properties as well. I have multiple properties myself. I helped over 1,000 clients myself as well to get on a ladder. And I really love seeing clients go from, oh, I can't do this to, oh my God, I've done it. So if you're feeling that way, if you think that, we could help you, please reach out. Myself and my team would be absolutely love to help you. And if you don't believe me, go on Google, type my name. With a name like mine, you can't really hide. These are all real Google reviews that people have left me. We're currently sitting on 156. It's really hard to ask for Google reviews. I always get really shy about it. Every now and then I might ask, and then people leave me amazing reviews. But when I do feel shy, I don't. I'm sure we've helped more people than that. But yeah, if you end up if we end up helping you and you end up being our client, I would love for you to leave us a Google review as well. And look, with Google reviews, you can never delete any bad reviews. You can't manipulate Google reviews at all. So I'm just saying that, this is all real. If you don't believe me, believe them. Now, what do? We help with mortgages, we help with insurances, and we guide you along the way, along the journey. So it's not just, here's a document, give it to us, see you later. It's a whole journey that we take you on. And beyond that as well. So when you have a refix coming up, we're there for you. If you want to restructure your loan or top up because you want to buy a car or do renovations, we're there for you. We can do regular reviews and we support you with future planning. Now, also every 3 years, usually our clients get a refinance because the other bank may offer a better deal, and we help with that as well. Now, because I've been doing it for so long, I'm actually at a point now where I help my clients' children to get on the ladder, which is really, really funny to see for me because I feel really old now. But that just shows that if you get on a ladder, you're actually helping your family then to see what's possible. I had a lot of first generation home buyers where they thought it's never possible because their parents told them it's not possible. And now when they bought a house, they know that when their kids will be growing up, they will have a much better financial literacy future than what they had. Now, I'm just going to leave a couple of this QR codes. If you want to connect with me, I've got a WhatsApp, so just scan that. That will take you straight to my account. We'll also have a podcast. It's called That Home Loan Hub. There's a Facebook page for it that we're trying to build up, a community where you can ask any questions you like. So feel free to scan that to take it through to me. And I'm going to open up the floor for your questions because this is where the best part happens, right? It's the questioning time. Now, I actually had one of the building inspectors reach out to me today. He wants to do a webinar with me in a couple of weeks' time where you guys can come and ask him questions of a building inspector. What do you need to watch out for? So watch the space. And if anyone else that wants to jump in on the webinars with me, I'm always more than happy. Cool. So for those that don't know about the podcast, here's the information on the podcast. You can search the QR code. And look, some of you may have workplaces. If you want me to come and talk to your workplace, I do that as well. I do a bit of public speaking here and there. So feel free to reach out to me. My personal website is zibuniso.com. Very original, I know. But the podcast has over 300 episodes now. And I always encourage my clients to go through those episodes because you will find something each time. Even as I record them, I learn something new each time. So it would be really, really amazing if you could go in there, give it a scan. It's absolutely free. I try to bring various experts to you so you can learn alongside us. Beautiful. I'm going to open up the floor for the questions. Do you guys have any questions for me? I tried to zoom through it. You can type them in if you're too shy to ask. I'll just quickly check YouTube. No questions? Wow, you guys are doing well. Beautiful. Well, if you don't have any questions, that's absolutely fine as well. I hope today has been somewhat helpful. This is more around the mindset. It's not very nitty-gritty like I did last webinar. So if you actually go on my YouTube channel and search the last webinar I've done a few weeks ago, it had more of a longer nitty-gritty, what's the process, etc. So yeah, if you're into that sort of stuff, look out for that one. This one was more about, hey, you can do this, but you got to be disciplined about things and you really got to understand your why. So I really want to hear your whys. So if you could drop me a line in the next few days of what you've learned from this webinar, I would really appreciate it. But if there are no questions, I'm going to disappear from your eyes and ears. Oh, thank you for the hearts. Appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful evening and stay warm out there.